Hello everyone, I've been using the DJI Osmo Nano camera for a while now, and based on my experience, here's my conclusion. It's a good camera for supplementing vlog footage. Why do I say that? First, it absolutely cannot replace an action camera. I'm sure you've seen many reviews from other bloggers. The camera body's battery life is less than an hour, and with the transmission module, it's about 3 hours. This is significantly less than a typical action camera. Furthermore, its charging method isn't user-friendly. The camera body doesn't have a charging port and can only be charged through the transmission module. You can only charge the transmission module directly. With an action camera, you can carry several batteries, but you can't exactly buy several transmission modules for the Nano. Can you? Overheating is another problem. After filming for more than 20 minutes while attached to my chest, the camera became noticeably hot. Although firmware updates have greatly alleviated this, at least it won't shut down due to overheating. But consider that it's currently winter. I deeply understand the importance of the season when using my iPhone for filming. In winter, I basically don't have to worry about my iPhone overheating and shutting down. But in summer, outdoors, it quickly gives me a warning, and even indoors, a cooling fan is often necessary. So, if your usage scenario involves activities like cycling, fishing, or running that requires long, continuous recording, please buy an action camera instead. The reason I say it's suitable for vlogging is because, as we all know, vlogs consist of A-roll, B-roll, and various shots. When filming a vlog, a single shot usually doesn't exceed 15 seconds. You need to switch angles, focal lengths, and perspectives. Recording multiple times, many clips are trimmed down to only a second or two of usable footage. Otherwise, your vlog will look like security camera footage. In this usage scenario, its overheating and battery life issues are less critical. I believe that recording for 30 seconds and then letting it rest for a while is perfectly fine in the summer. The biggest advantage of the Nano is, of course, that you can just set it down and start filming A-roll. If I were to film A-roll with my phone, I would need to take out a stabilizer or tripod, connect to the microphone receiver, open the app, and then connect another phone, which would take at least 1 or 2 minutes. In situations where time is limited, such as catching a train, the Nano is incredibly convenient. Find a table or chair, set it down, turn it on, and you can start recording immediately. Another advantage of the Nano compared to the iPhone is that it can be attached to surfaces on both sides, allowing you to film others like a phone, or conversely, film yourself, especially when you need to walk and talk at the same time. Of course, a phone can also accomplish this task, but the iPhone's front camera only has a 19mm focal length. I've tried it, and even with my arm fully extended, I can barely see anything on either side. This is the effect of iPhone front camera and DJI Osmo Nano shooting at the same distance. However, the Nano's distortion-free 15mm focal length easily captures more of the surrounding environments, preventing the footage from looking too monotonous while I'm walking and talking. This is an advantage of the Nano. Another advantage of the Nano is that its image transmission module can be detached for monitoring. The biggest problem when shooting A-roll with a phone is that you can't see yourself in the rear camera. I've tried many methods, but they all require another device. The Nano's detachable device allows you to record panoramic or even long shot scenes without needing to remotely control it with a phone. You can simply place the camera down and step back. It's worth nothing that the Nano currently cannot remotely monitor while shooting when connected to a DJI Mac. It can only monitor before shooting. Once the record button is pressed, the image transmission is disconnected. This is likely due to hardware limitations and insufficient bandwidth. However, I don't think this is a very serious problem. In fact, before buying the Nano, I tried using an Apple Watch to monitor the iPhone's native camera, and I also tried using one phone to monitor another. This is a feature of the Blackmagic camera app. Basically, you do a test run before recording, remember the route, and then you don't need to look at the monitor while recording. Otherwise, you will end up with strange footage. So, I don't think this is a big problem with the Nano. If you really need to monitor while shooting, then just use a phone for monitoring. Of course, the biggest advantage is its low profile and non-intrusiveness. Most of my previous videos were shot in scenic areas or indoors. The main reason is that holding a phone to film in the city is quite awkward, especially when you want to capture the atmosphere of everyday life. For example, if you are buying street food and hold up your phone to ask, "How much is this, boss?" I believe you get at least one dirty look. But if you wear it on your chest, I tried walking around Jianghan Road and Hubo Alley, and the answer is that almost no one noticed. Most people probably didn't even realize that the person in front of them was filming a video. So, with the Nano, I dare to record more everyday life content in the future, such as browsing shopping malls and supermarkets. Oh, by the way, shopping malls and supermarkets in China are now full of cameras, and carrying a phone can easily attract the attention of store employees who might think you are a competitor trying to gather information. Of course, this doesn't mean it can replace a phone. Whether it's an action camera, a panoramic camera, or this so-called thumb camera, or even cameras like the Pocket with built-in physical image stabilization, they basically all have wide-angle or even ultra-wide-angle lenses, which are useless for distant objects. Of course, some people say you can just get closer to take the picture. But the problem is, there are some places you can't get close to. For example, if someone is dancing on the second floor of a shopping mall, how can you get close enough to film them? But the phone's telephoto lens can handle that without any problem. The same applies to people. The footage from these cameras looks like surveillance camera footage. If all the shots were like that, I believe it would be very boring. Therefore, in any case, I still recommend that for situations where you can actively record and pose without being rushed, you should still use your phone camera's 48mm focal length double zoom, or even the 120mm focal length 5x zoom. Image quality you will get will be far superior to what the Nano can provide.